I don't think I've ever heard anybody. I don't think I've ever been excited for the possibilities of getting a number one overall pick because we have our quarterback of the future. So that just opens up a plethora of different things that we can do and a lot
Yeah.
of flexibility with that pick going into the offseason. And we don't have to spend all that money at one time as well. Like I said, it's probably a 2 or 3 year, build, a complete build.
If we
They
get
can
number
compete.
one, we could do it in like 1 or 2.
Well, they can compete for a playoff
Yeah.
spot next year regardless. But if you're talking complete 360 rebuild or a complete 180, you don't want to do a 360, a complete 180 rebuild,
A
um,
900.
then you want to take that slow approach, that 2 3 year rebuild approach to where you can compete next year but not quite there yet, get a little bit more experience under your belt, kind of find out exactly those final touches that you're missing, and then go and get it year 3. I really think Justin next year takes a step to something that we have never seen as Bears fans. We've never had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of our franchise, and that includes Smoke and Jay. You know what I'm saying? So I
Boy.
think he gets close to that. You get him a number one, he gets close to that 4,000-yard mark next year, if not surpass it, on top of 500 to 750 yards rushing, and you're talking possible MVP candidate. And for him to take that jump in year 3 of his career, year 2 of this new system, that would be huge for the rebuild of the Chicago Bears. It would be huge. And, we don't have much to talk about. There's only 2 games left. We have this game against Detroit. Detroit took a bad loss against Carolina.
Yeah.
Bad loss.
I like playing Detroit because it's going to be a shootout. That's all. It'll be fun.
I think Detroit comes into this game pissed. They are looking to go to the playoffs. They have something to play for, and that's not something you hear very often in late December, early January, is Detroit playing a meaningful game. So it's going to be tough for me, but I really think Detroit wins. Like you said, it's going to be a shootout. But they're at home, and I think that realistically, Jared Goff tears us up again, probably close to 320 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown probably has, a $120 of those yards. But I see Jared Goff probably tossing 3 touchdowns. It's gonna be like a 34-31 game again. Realistically, it's gonna be one of those shootouts. It's gonna be high scoring. It's a game I would pick the over in.
I agree.
But I mean, we want to lose these games, but we also want them to be entertaining. We obviously don't want to get blown out. I want to lose these games. I want to lose against Detroit. I want to lose against Minnesota. Realistically, last week of the season, if I lose against Detroit on Sunday, if I'm going into Minnesota week 18, I just don't care. I'm embracing the full tank. I'm sitting Justin. I'm throwing in, hey, let's take a look to see what these other guys have. Let's let them
Nathan
play a
Peterman?
full game. Just
No.
just to see what they got.
Who
Hey,
do we play last?
Minnesota.
We're not winning that game. I don't care what happens. Justin Jefferson's gonna get like a fucking. He's about to break the. He's close. He's on pace to break the record, right?
Yes.
Or not? Yeah, to get 2,000 receiving yards. So it's like,
Yep.
yeah, they're gonna cook us. Like,
yeah. So why even risk it? You know what I'm saying? Just your season's over.
In my head, how I always looked at it, it's a mindset. I don't want guys getting their heads that like when it's all like we're gonna be resting guys. Like, we're the fucking Chicago Bears.
I get it, but long-term planning, and I know the players' pride is one thing. Nobody wants to lose. They go out and play the games to win. But if you're Ryan Poles, you're sitting there, you're talking to Matt Eberflus, and you're like, hey, look, I want to see what some of these guys have to see if they can be on the roster next year.
Ooh.
I use that as my excuse. Let's play let's play the third string, running back the whole game. Let's play.
Fine with that, but we don't have. What I'm saying is like we don't have a quarterback to put in to see. Like we don't need to see what Nathan Peterman can do. We already
maybe
know
Nathan Peterman can continue to be the backup next year.
Maybe, but like I said, we don't need to see that in the game.
Of course we do. If it means getting the number one overall pick.
Well, I guess I'm imagining it depends how this game rushing wise goes against the Lions. If he's on pace to break the record, they're letting him play.
I would assume so, but
Break
he's
records.
but
But that's
he's
what I'm saying. Those are confidence builders, and that's what I think. It's like if he can break the record, I think they got to try and let him break the record in a safe way where he's not going to hurt himself. But I think that is a confidence boost. Where like the end of the season, Justin, we sucked and we had a bad season. We can hang his hat on like I outdid Mike Vick. Like, you know what I mean? I'm fucking on, like, you know what I mean? I'm like Vic now. Vic, what, you know what I mean? Like, I could be him. Like, so I want shit like that to happen. It's a confidence builder. And like I said, I want these guys to have a mentality of like, I don't want healthy guys sitting out. Like, I don't want that in their head.
I would understand. I like I said, I understand, but I'm thinking in Ryan Poles' position right now. And if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm having a conversation with Matt Eberflus, and I'm telling him, this is what we're doing. Like, yeah, if Justin's close, let's see if he can get it in the first half of the game against Minnesota. If he doesn't, he's got a shoulder injury. He's out for the rest of the game. Like that. If I'm Ryan Poles, I am telling Matt Eberflus this because the value of that number 1 overall pick is in the long run.
Can't they do what the Eagles did that one year and just take Hurts out in the second half and put the shit like did they do that like 2 years ago? Yeah. They were thinking and Hurts was having a good game and they took him out and put some even worse guy in to like he basically lost them the game.
Well, that's what I'm saying
like,
is,
and they were saying what you said, like, oh, our season was over. We're just trying to see what this guy could do. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we've been doing that already. They're like, Cody White, don't block anybody for the rest of the game.
Long term, you know what you have in Justin Fields. Long term, the value of that number 1 overall pick.
I guess that all goes on if the Texans win. If the Texans win.
Yeah. For Ryan Poles, the value of that number 1 overall pick and the long run tenure of your franchise is worth more to me as Ryan Poles than Justin Fields breaking a rushing record for a quarterback. If he was on pace to, break a record for passing yards, franchise record for passing yards or passing touchdowns or, some different story.
Yeah, but we got to get wins. You get small wins build into big wins. Like
you can get all the wins you want next year. I want no more wins this year.
I'm talking about personal wins for Justin. Like there's things for him to build on. He's the best running quarterback ever in history now. Next year you got to be up the passing game now. You showed him you could do that, now do this.
Well, then if I'm Ryan Poles, I tell Justin, hey man, you missed a game. You know
that's right. If he didn't miss the fucking game, he would have had the shit beat by now. Right?
Hey, you had the record. You got hurt. You missed the game. It was negative.
That was on them though. That was
Buffalo.
On them. I bet you they made him sit though. I bet you he would have played that game if he could.
He probably wouldn't have ran that much either because
but I'm just saying like he probably would have played that game if he could. So I don't know.